the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatest of His creations, the one whom there is no match for Him. In His love, I wish to hear a loud, loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we ask Allah to bless this majlis by sending His greatest peace and blessings upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We praise Allah for this blessing and every blessing, for without Allah we would have nothing. Assalamu alaikum. My dear respected elders, my dear respected brothers, my dear respected sisters, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight I have one objective. And I'm going to make it clear from the very beginning, so it's not confused. I have one objective here tonight. Does everyone want to know what objective I have? I have one thing. I flew from Detroit. I'm here now in the DC area and I'm flying back tomorrow morning. I have one objective. Do you want to know what my objective here is tonight? You don't sound enthusiastic. If you want to know what my objective here is tonight, I'm going to say, yeah, and I want you to respond with Muhammad. Can we all do this together? And tonight, you're going to say this name so many times, you're going to fulfill the objective. Are you ready? Yeah? 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 I can't hear you. Yeah? 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 Tonight, the objective is simple. To fall in love with the beloved of Allah, Muhammad. Tonight, we establish what it means to say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Tonight, you and I are going to go on a journey in seeing this magnificent life of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih that gives life to you and I in every day of our lives. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah? Yeah? The young brothers in the front, I want to hear you. The young sisters in the front, especially the young ones, the very young ones. Yeah? 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 Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih was born in the year 570 AD. It was known as the year of the elephant. The year of the elephant. It became known because the most sacred grounds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave for humanity, the place that you and I every single day, we direct ourselves as our qibla, we face in our prayer every single day, that place called Mecca, that place called the Kaaba. That year, an army of elephants, of infantry, of cavalry, of war tanks. At that time, their tanks were elephants. And they came in the thousands to lay out, to bring to the ground this place called the Kaaba. Now there was a guardian of the Kaaba, a trustee, a custodian, a protector of the Kaaba. And his name was Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib, when the news came that this man, a commander by the name of Abraha, wanted to attack and level the Kaaba. Why? What did the Kaaba do to him? What did the Arabians do to him? He was assembling a new community and was building a cathedral, a grand place of worship, south of Mecca, in a place called Yemen. So Abraha decided, because the Kaaba in Mecca was the central place of pilgrimage, they decided they had to level that place out so everyone would come to them. So he launched a war, a campaign against the Kaaba, against Mecca. Thousands of soldiers would march on, and when the people of Mecca heard of the elephants that were coming, the cavalry that were coming, the war that was emerging, they all fled for the hills. They all left Mecca. One man remained, Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib held on to the Kaaba as its protector, as its custodian, as its guardian. And as the army came forward and Abdul Muttalib was standing in front of the Kaaba, not moving an inch, they looked at him and they laughed. They said, everybody fled. Everyone ran for the hills. Why are you still here? What are you going to do? Look at our army. Look at what we have. Abdul Muttalib told them, looking them straight in the eyes, said, this house has a Lord that protects it. Abdul Muttalib would whisper a prayer. He would say, Ya Allah, these are your people. This is your house. Save us. Save us. And Allah would answer his prayer, the prayer of Abdul Muttalib. Thousands upon thousands of not elephants, but rather birds in the sky that would drop pebbles. Pebbles so small, but so fierce, they would strike through this entire army, and the entire army of Abraha would fall. And all fall at the feet of Abdul Muttalib. You see, this year, the year of the elephant, was a year of celebration. Not just because of the victory over those who wanted to attack the Kaaba, but it was a year of celebration because Abdul Muttalib would celebrate the birth of his grandson. Abdul Muttalib would celebrate his grandson coming to this world. And that grandson would be no other than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I want you to know, in this year 570 AD, what also happened. Before our holy prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, his father Abdullah would not see his birth. His father Abdullah was a trader, a merchant, and he was on a trading journey in Syria. He became ill during his journey. Abdullah was only 25 years old. And before he could celebrate the birth of his son, he passed away. So our holy prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was orphaned before he even came into this world. But our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had his mother Amina. For 6 years, Amina would care for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he was the only thing she had in this entire world. It was as if nothing existed but Muhammad. But at the age of 6, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would lose his mother. So by the age of 6, no father, no mother. Who would care for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? His grandfather Abdul Muttalib, the guardian of the Kaaba, the one who was looked at by the entire family, the entire tribe, for not just leadership and wisdom, but for love and care. Abdul Muttalib would care for Muhammad. And for 2 years, he would be his shadow. Wherever he would go, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would follow. At the Kaaba, when he would pray, Muhammad was with him. In the desert, when he would go and reflect, he was with him. In his trading, in his work, and all that he did, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would follow him, this young child, with him. And then at the age of 8, our Prophet would lose his grandfather. So I want you to take this moment and realize, in such a short period of time, that the Prophet had lost his mother, his father, and his grandfather by the age of 8. The next person to care for this child had to be someone of such a magnanimous character, someone with such a big heart, someone that would be able to take and fill the shoes of a father, of a mother, of a grandfather. And who are these individuals? Abdullah, Amina, and Abdul Muttalib. Before Abdul Muttalib would die, he would turn to his son, Abu Talib, and entrust the care of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Abu Talib. He would tell him, never leave him out of your sight, and care for him like your own. Great things will come from this boy. And Abu Talib would take that trust. And Abu Talib would care for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with his wife Fatima bint Asad. When you're looking at the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the life of our beloved Prophet, I want you to see his childhood as an essential component in our understanding of his magnanimous personality. You and I need to build a relationship with those that we love. How many of us love our parents? Raise your hand. If you love your parents, raise your hand. How many of us love our children? If you love your children, raise your hand. How many of us love our spouse? Raise your hand. You better raise your hand. Even if you're not married yet, raise your hand. They're expecting. Brothers and sisters, you and I are required that if we wish to love someone, we have to build a relationship with them. We have to build a relationship with them. And we can't build a relationship with them unless we know more about them and unless we ask questions. So when we're coming here tonight, I know there's a lot of commotion, I know there's a lot of action, especially with our young ones, and I appreciate the energy. But when we here are tonight, I want you to be thinking about the details. I want you to be thinking about the history. I want you to ask questions. I want you to contemplate. Why? To delve deeper in your relationship with the beloved of Allah. Here's a simple question. A simple question. And this one, I don't want you to raise your hand. Who here has experienced some form of trial, tribulation, trauma, hurt, Pretty much all of us. It's part of the human experience. I'm going to zoom further into the life of the Prophet. The Prophet ﷺ was sitting with his companions one day, and he said, there was no prophet that experienced the pain that I experienced. No prophet that has gone through the trials and tribulations that I have experienced. No prophet has gone through what I have gone through. So when the Prophet is saying no prophet, and the prophets are the best of God's creation naturally in virtue, meaning no human being, man or woman, has gone what through the Prophet ﷺ has gone through. We just mentioned the first 8 years of his life, and that's enough to speak of pain, trauma, and tribulation. The first 8 years of his life, he lost the 3 closest people to him. Now I want to ask you here tonight, and tonight is a night of celebration, but I want to ask you here tonight, my sisters, you listening? My brothers, you listening? If you are holding on to some form of pain, if you have some trauma, if you have something that you have gone through, I want you tonight, in the love of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to let go of that pain. I want you tonight, in the honor of Muhammad and his trials and tribulations and his pain, I want you here tonight, in his love, to let go of it. Whoever hurt you, let go of it. Whoever pained you, let go of it. Whoever is suffering here tonight, in the love of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let go of it. Let go. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was sent from his birth, he was sent as a mercy, as a love to all of the worlds, to all of us, to do what? To release us from this pain. You and I, no matter what, in life, you will have pain. But it's our choice. It is our choice to take that pain and make it into suffering. Or our choice to take that pain and make it into development, growth, perseverance, and contentment with the tests and trials that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us. Our choice. Because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he's telling his companions, no prophet went through what I went through, he said it with a smile. He said it with a smile. Let's look at some of the smiles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from 8 to 25, he was under the care of Abu Talib. The age of 25, he had developed his own reputation. He became a trader, a merchant in his own right, a businessman. He had his own reputation. The Prophet in his 20s and 30s was known as a Sadiq al-Amin, was known as the honest, the trustworthy. The Prophet didn't come forward with any message yet. But the people loved him, respected him, honored him. The Prophet, when he was 25 years old, and I want you to look at, subhanAllah, the divine wisdom in this. The same age that his father, Abdullah, was when he was on his own trading routes in Syria. Abu Talib is asked by the leading entrepreneur of her age, one of the top entrepreneurs, one of the top business enterprises in all of Arabia is led by the princess of Quraysh, Lady Khadija alayha salam. She goes to Abu Talib. Why? Because Abu Talib is respected and honored and known for his reputation and his wisdom and his business savviness as well. She goes to Abu Talib and she says, Abu Talib, I need more merchants, more traders. I need people to help me in my enterprise. Do you have anybody that you can suggest for me? And I have some important trading routes that I need to embark on, and I need to trust people. He says, I think I have the perfect person for you. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is suggested by his uncle. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes forward, and he's entrusted by the business of Khadija to go and represent them on this trading expedition. Before they leave, Lady Khadija alayhi salam entrusts one of her assistants and says, I want you to pay particular attention to our new recruit, our new agent, Muhammad. I want you to record everything he does. I want you to report back to me and tell me, how did the journey go with him? They go on the journey, they come back. Reporting back to Khadija, they tell her. She said, what happened? Tell me. How did the journey go? What did Muhammad do? They were all in awe. They told her, this man is like no one else. It is as if a cloud follows him wherever he goes. The scorching sun does not touch his skin. He does not eat until everyone else around him eats. He does not drink until everyone else around him drinks. He does not rest until his group is taken care of. He is kind to all. He is fair and just in all of his dealings. People love him and gravitate towards him. We have never seen a man like this. Abu Talib asked Khadija alayhi salam, how did she find the experience with her team and Muhammad? They engage in conversations. He realizes from Khadija that not only was she interested and open to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam becoming involved in her business, but Lady Khadija, and a woman of her caliber and her honor, Abu Talib would find out that she would want to be married to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Abu Talib alayhi salam would be the one to facilitate and actually wed Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Khadija alayhi salam. In the love of Muhammad and Khadija, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When we're looking at this experience of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we're seeing the way his life developed, there's going to be an emphasis on one thing for certain. And I want you to keep this in mind, right? Every aspect of the Prophet's life was so practical and pragmatic. Every aspect of the Prophet's life was based on one primary objective. Now our primary objective was what? Fall in love with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The primary objective of Rasulullah was manifested even before his risala. And you want to know what that objective was? He said it clearly. People asked him, why have you come? He said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent to perfect the best of akhlaq, ethics, manners. Now, my brothers and sisters, in a very basic way, what is akhlaq? In the most basic ways, what is akhlaq? My young brothers, what is akhlaq? I'm asking you, it's not a rhetorical question. Anyone? What is akhlaq? Manners. I mean, I said that. Manners, ethics. Give me more practical. Sounds nice. Relationships. Respect others. The way you carry yourself. Anything else? Anything else, sisters? Your character? Beautiful. Your behavior? Beautiful. It's the way you live, right? The way you look at yourself. It's all of these things you guys just said. The Prophet said, I'm coming to perfect that. How you see yourself, how you treat yourself. How you see others, how you treat others. How you see Allah, and how you treat Allah. From the creator to the creation, you included. Your perspective, your paradigm, and your action, your behavior, your conduct. I've come to perfect that. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from his childhood until his death and beyond his death, he continues to perfect that. So you and I, when we're thinking today, I don't know if the history of Islam, the history of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the history of Ahlul Bayt is relevant to me today. Well, that's something that you and I have to challenge ourselves with. Is it not relevant to me, or am I not allowing myself to be relevant to it? Is it not relevant to me, or is it I'm not allowing myself to be relevant to it? You and I, when we're looking at what we're doing on a daily basis, how many of us are really interested in becoming the best version of ourselves today? Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Today. Tonight. Let's do a quick poll. Who here wants to be a better version of themselves today? Raise your hand. If you're not raising your hand, you're not interested in becoming a better version of yourself. It's probably not a good thing. Maybe I can convince you otherwise. I'll add this as a sub-objective. Sub-objective, we in the love of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because if I'm going to fall in love with the beloved of God, there was a reason why he was the beloved of God. One of the reasons is he's khayru khalqillah. The best of God's creation was the beloved of Allah. And he's the beloved of Allah, so he's our beloved. And if he's our beloved, we want to hold on to him. And if we want to hold on to him, we want to be like him. And if we want to be like him, today has to be better than yesterday. And tomorrow has to be better than today. Or no? Because you and I, if we take for granted La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we're responsible. You see, the beauty of life, my dear brothers and sisters, is that we have free will. We have freedom. We have freedom. Free will. You can do whatever it is that you would like to do. You just have to deal with the consequences, good and bad. You and I have the freedom to do and choose as a human being. The human being has a freedom. You choose. But whether you're a child in your parents' household or you're an independent adult, you're responsible for your choices. And ultimately you're responsible and accountable to yourself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you and I, when we're sitting here and we're praising Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and we're thinking, okay, I want to become closer to this prophet. I want to gain blessings from this gathering. I want to praise Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the praiseworthy, the praised. But what are you doing with it? Are you becoming better? Are you inspired to take that next step in your life? Now let's say we took what I was asking all of us to do earlier, and I said, let go of that pain. Whatever's holding you back, let go of it. My brother, let go of it. My sister, let go of it. And leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will take care of you. He will protect you. He will give you. You're in need, Allah will give you. Let's say you took that, right? We build off of it. Let's say we took that. Will you take the next step? Will you take that personal accountability and say, I'm gonna take the next step in my growth. I'm going to make a step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to grow tonight. I'm going to do tonight. I may not have prayed in years, And by the way, I want you to apply this here tonight. You know what's so beautiful about our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the beloved of Allah, the mercy to mankind? Is that no matter where you are in your life, if you ask Allah any prayer and attach with it the simple praise of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and you ask Allah for anything following that salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, you think God will not answer your prayer? You think Allah will answer your prayer? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad is a prayer, a supplication, a dua. Allah answers it every single time it is said. Because Muhammad is the beloved of Allah. There's none like him. So if you attach yourself, your request, your prayer with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, you want to turn to Allah. You want to get closer to Allah. You ask Allah, Allah, I haven't been with you. I haven't been close to you. I haven't been intentionally getting towards you for years. My heart is hard. Bring me closer to you, Ya Allah, bhaq Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Do it. Do it. My dear brothers and sisters, listen closely. And I say this knowing what I'm saying, knowing the weight of what I'm about to say. Tonight may be my last. Tonight may be our last. When we're celebrating the love of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, let it not just be on our tongues. Let it be in our hearts. Together. In movement towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you want to know when it comes to this prophet, this beloved, in the testimony of our faith, in order of us, no matter where we come from, no matter what our creed is, to become a Muslim, what do you have to say? What is the shahada? You know what? Let's do this all together. Together. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. What do you say every single day? Isn't this shahada? We say la ilaha illallah. We say Muhammad Rasulullah. Every single, in our prayer, in the prayer itself, in our tashahud, we bear witness that there is no God but Him. And Muhammad is His servant and messenger. I want you to pay close attention to, yes, this connection of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no God but Him, and Muhammad is His messenger. But in your prayer itself, what do we say about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Beyond him just being the messenger of Allah, what else do we say? What else do we say? Ahsant. Can you say it a little bit louder? Whoever just said that. Go ahead, brother. أحسنت وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih, our love towards him, and let it be established here tonight. As the followers of Ahlul Bayt, there is no one that we love more than Muhammad wa al Muhammad. And the love that we have for Ali, Fatima, Al-Hassan, Wal-Hussein, and all of our imams to our living awaited Imam Al-Muntadhar, all of it stems from the love of the beloved Muhammad. And this beloved Muhammad is the servant of Allah. Abd. Servant of Allah. And that was his greatest honor. To be the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So theologically, my dear brothers and sisters, as we take a step back, you and I, throughout the year, when we're commemorating Ahlul Bayt, in celebration and joy, in sorrow and mourning, the celebration and commemoration of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam takes us to whom? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. And Muhammad, the beloved of Allah, his servant and messenger, the greatest of God's creation, without a second chance, without a match, he takes us to whom? Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this, the celebration in the morning, all of it, everything, is for Allah. Without a doubt, it's for Allah. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, to show you how everything was for Allah. Allah sent him as a man from the people, not an angel, but the best of the best, to lead a people, to lead a nation, to lead the world. From the most unassuming circumstances and in a diverse place that people believed so many different things. Even though his character would carry him and he would be unmatched in his virtue, people attacked him. People persecuted him. Could you imagine walking in your neighborhood every single day and being trashed by people, young and old alike? Young and old alike. Children were raised at that time to go and attack the Prophet and his followers. At the age of 40, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have his message. He was always the messenger. But he was ordained with the revelation at the age of 40. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be followed by his wife, Lady Khadija alayhi salam, to be the first to submit to his message. The first Muslim. And we say this with the greatest honor in celebrating our Lady Khadija alayhi salam, the first Muslim. And Imam Ali alayhi salam being a young man, a young boy, the second Muslim and the first male to submit to the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in Khadija and Ali, the Prophet had an ummah, had a nation, had a community. And the Prophet would not fret. The Prophet would raise his early companions and his followers on the message that he came with, which was إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Now, brothers and sisters, it's easy for us to have good manners and good ethics with people that treat us nicely. It's good. It's easy. When people are kind to you, someone opens the door for you, you say thank you. You're welcome. Someone brings you a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. I made this the way you like. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. People are kind. It's easy to be kind to those who are kind to you. But what about the people who are nasty? What about the people who are rude, mean, disrespectful, vicious? We live in a world today that's not different than the world of yesterday. May I dare to say that history repeats itself over and over again. Today is not much different than the years before, my dear brothers and sisters. And I would say it's not much different than it was 1,400 years ago. The buildings may change quite a bit. The technology may change. The mode of transportation may change. From horses to vehicles to cars to airplanes. But people are people. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't come to tell you that he came to change the mode of transportation. He came to tell you this is the way the pilot needs to act. He came to tell you this is the way the passenger needs to carry themselves. He came to tell you that you and I, no matter how advanced our societies may become, advancement should not affect your character. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his message was universal from then to now and forever. And we have that treasure in our hands and we can't take it for granted. So when I'm looking at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he showed me every inch of the way how to deal, how to live, and not only how to survive, because you and I, my dear brothers and sisters, as Muslims, we are not victims. We are not victims. We can choose to be victors. We can win in our situations and our challenges. And let me show you how. Not winning by being stronger over other people. Not victors as in having the upper hand on other people. But instead, how do we react to our situations? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would walk a certain path every single day on his road. On the road, he would walk this certain path and he would pass by a specific neighborhood. In this neighborhood, there was an elderly woman who took out her trash every single time she saw our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam walking by her home. I don't know about you, but I take out my trash every Tuesday night. And I usually have it in a receptacle. And I drag it out to the front lawn. I place it there. The next morning, sanitation comes and picks it up. This woman didn't have that kind of system. Instead, she saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She took whatever she could find of filth and she would throw it at him, yell at him, scream at him, tell him, leave our town. Go back to where you came from. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is from Mecca. That was his home. That was his place. That was his town. She didn't like him. She didn't like what he represented or what she thought he represented. Every single time the Prophet was trashed by this woman, and there were many others like her, the Prophet would just brush off his thobe, smile, and continue on his way. Until one day, the woman does not come outside. The Prophet is walking by her home, almost expecting her to come out and trash him. He's walking. She didn't come out. Now you and I in that situation will probably be relieved that this woman didn't come and filth us today. The Prophet was concerned. The Prophet was concerned for the woman that trashed him. He went and knocked on her door, found out that she was ill, came to her bedside, began taking care of her like a nurse. Now, many of you might have heard this story. I want you to dig a little bit deeper here tonight as you're listening to it. The Prophet obviously is on her bedside, tells her, asks her how she's doing. She's just baffled by the idea that this same man that I was trashing on a daily basis comes and takes care of me. Why, Muhammad, are you taking care of me? Prophet smiles. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent to perfect the best of ethics, the best of manners, the best of dealings, the best of living. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمَا بَعَثْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you, O Muhammad, except as a mercy to the worlds. Now this is what I want you to carry through right now with me. That's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the cream of the crop, The pinnacle of character and virtue. The pinnacle. How do you take that into your life with your pain, with your trial, with your tribulation? How do you take that with the people that you're just wondering, how do I deal with these people in my life? By the way, these people can be close or they can be far. I get questions all the time. I get DMs on Instagram all the time by brothers and sisters from all over the world asking me, how do I deal? Literally, and I'm just going to summarize it like that. How do I deal? Can anybody relate to that? How do I deal? Anybody? Can anybody relate to that? How do I deal with this? Fill in the blank. Nobody can relate to that? Virginia, we're not relevant. I'm not being relevant to you guys. How do I deal with my spouse? How do I deal with my son? How do I deal with my daughter? How do I deal with my coworker who is being prejudiced against me? How do I deal with the professor who is alienating me in class and I know I'm going to fail because this professor has a prejudice against me? Anybody can relate to these? How do I deal? Okay, beautiful. Excellent. How do I deal with the client who's coming back at me for $10,000 worth of services because they're not satisfied anymore when they realized I'm a Muslim? Okay, are we becoming a little bit more relevant? إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق is what? How do I deal? Your relationship with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that manuscript, is the prescription for how do I deal? How do I meet the challenges of the day? Your religiosity and your spirituality have to be connected practically. Your religiosity does not come here at the mosque. It's easy here. It's easy for us to come together and say loud salawat and be smiley and happy. But then when we walk outside of those doors, how do we carry that in our hearts and in our minds and in our conduct? How do we make sure that our children, our kids, our youth are strong in their faith where whatever their name is, whatever their face is, at the mosque, at university, at their job, it's all the same. That's us going back to إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the same man, the same face, the same name wherever he went, wherever he was. In His love, I want us to say His blessed name. Because sometimes you just need to hear His name. You may hear me for a long time, but sometimes even just the name just does so much more. Yeah? 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 Some of you don't seem excited about the name Muhammad, and I'm going to put it on you. It's not, that's the most beloved name. I need to see a little bit more excitement. And if I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you. Yeah? Don't look away. Yeah? 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 Ahsantum, salawat. Now, brothers and sisters, tonight is a night of celebration. Tonight is a night of joy. Tonight is a night of happiness. So I want us here tonight, before you leave tonight, okay? And I'm gonna end soon, okay? I'm gonna end soon so we can continue with the festivities and the joy. But I have a request. Everyone ready for this request? Everyone ready? If you're ready, raise your hand. Excellent. I want you tonight, before you leave, to grab the brothers with the brothers, the sisters with the sisters, a family member, a friend, someone you know, someone you don't know. I want you to grab them. Okay? Not grab them and shake them, right? I want you to grab them. I want you to truly embrace them. hug them, look them in the eyes. Okay, not in a creepy way. Look them in the eyes. And I want you to say, I love you by the beloved of Allah. Before you leave tonight. And if you're doing it right now, go ahead. MashaAllah, the young brothers, I love it. Not in a creepy way though, right? Not in a creepy way. Before you leave tonight, and if you want to do it to multiple people, go for it. Why am I asking you to do this? To say to people, I love you by the beloved of Allah, and look them in the eyes. Too many of us live our lives without saying what matters most. Too many times we pass each other by assuming that each of us knows what's in our hearts. Say what is in your heart. Express that love because Allah gave you His most beloved. Out of what? Love. You think it's a coincidence? It's an accident that khair khalq, the best of God's creation, is the beloved of Allah? Habibullah is the best creation. You think that's an accident? Why? Al-Habib is the one, the beloved, the loved, from love. Now some of you might be thinking, okay, Jalal, Hajj, you keep talking about love. Islam is lovey-dovey, we get it. No, we don't. Because if you realized how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved you, you'd run back to Him. If you realized how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you, you'd run back to Him. So tonight, with the beloved of Allah, love each other. Express your love towards one another by the love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. And inshallah, your lives will be filled with happiness, success, and true love. Deal? Excellent. My dear brothers and sisters, it was an honor being with you here tonight. An honor participating. An honor sharing a little bit. Because the greatest honor of our lives is the service of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. And trust me, no matter what you do in your lives, no matter what you do, if you make a focused effort on integrating the principles and the love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, trust me, see that little tidbit I gave, if you didn't pay attention to it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Anything you want in this life, attach it with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, your dreams and your wishes will come true. I guarantee you. So if you want to be successful in the university, you want to be successful in your job, in your career, in your business, in anything that you want, just connect it to Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad and watch Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do everything that is in your best. What was the objective here tonight? What was the objective here tonight that we started off with? What was the objective here tonight that we started off with? Sisters, brothers? I think one of the sisters said it. What was it? Because if we leave, to fall in love, to fall back in love with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before I get down, did we meet that objective? Did we? Did we? I don't think we did. Say yes. Say yes so Jalal can come down. Oh, you really want me to come down? You really want me to come down? Okay, I have one thing. It's not part of a lecture. Can I share with you one thing? Inshallah, it will maybe seal the deal for falling back in love with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is this okay? Can I do this one thing? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. It's a secret. This is me sealing the deal, if I can. Because I don't think I sealed the deal. You guys ready? Okay. If you're ready, I need to hear a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay. Who was the most beloved to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Beautiful, mashallah. There was someone that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told. He told him, nobody knows Allah truly but you and me. Who did he say that to? Now remember what I said earlier. That everything that we have in commemoration of Ahlul Bayt connects us to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad connects us to Allah. Let's seal the deal now. So that the next commemoration that you have of Ahlul Bayt, you connect it to the king of Ahlul Bayt, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But what was beloved to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the mentioning of Ali. You ready? You ready? Okay. I'm going to come down right after this. I need you to repeat after me. Whenever I say ya, whenever I point to you, I need you to say the blessed name of Ali. Is that okay? Is that okay? MashaAllah. All right, but I need you all to participate. Even the elders in the back, forgive me for asking you, but if you can participate, that would be great. The Lord sent to this earth the seal of prophets, Muhammad. And to this prophet, the successor would be Ali. And the prophet sent the successor, and he would be Ali. The city of knowledge is Muhammad, and the gate to the city is Ali. Know that the banner of praise is in the name of Muhammad, and we see that banner held by Ali. Held by Ali. The pond of grace on that day will be honored by Muhammad, and the one pouring the believers' water will be my Lord gave Al-Kawthar to Muhammad, and who married the Lady of Light but the pilgrimage was instituted in the house of God by Muhammad, and who was born from the house of God but heaven was created for the religion of Muhammad, but only by the permission of the commander of the faithful. The commander of the faithful. Hell was not created except by the right of Muhammad, so it may swallow the ones who stood against the justice of this heaven and this hell are at the command of Muhammad, and the one on that day who splits between them is no one but. And faith was completed by the religion of Muhammad, for who battled the disbelief of Amr, but the faith of Ali prays to his Lord in the name of Muhammad, and Muhammad prays by the right of his brother. Should I continue? Should I stop here? The sister here wants me to stop. Should I stop here or should I continue? Stop? Continue? Okay. I began by His Highness. I began by His Highness and ask by Muhammad and continue by the Prince of Princes, the Prince of Princes, the Prince of Princes. Lord, give me the valor of perfection that is Muhammad and the courage of the Lion of God that is. Give me the peak of expression that is Muhammad and the peak of eloquence that is. The peak of eloquence that is. The call to defend the faith came by Muhammad, and who answered the call again and again but? The final message was given to Muhammad, and the protection of it was upheld by? The Prince of the Faithful was divinely appointed by Muhammad, yet those who stood against you were who? Ya? 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 They took your right and oppressed the daughter of Muhammad, and they took the flower of your life. Ya? 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 But through the tragedy they were exposed by the right of Muhammad, and the oppressors could not even function without you. Ya? 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 On this day we rejoice for the family of Muhammad and raise our voices again in praise of. On this day we celebrate the auspicious birth of Muhammad and the happiness of the Shia of. How can you begin your praise with Muhammad and not continue with the blessed roar of Ya? 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 How can you claim to know the God of Muhammad without knowing His light, His sign, and His perfection? Ya? 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 I do not know anything in this existence but Muhammad, and by that I only know you. Ya? 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 Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let that be, my dear brothers and sisters, our tribute, our honor to Muhammad wa ali Muhammad in every day of our lives, so that we realize these names that we call out. Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad, Ya Allah. The ultimate destination for us is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you for giving me the honor to be with you here all tonight. Please let us again raise our salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad and recite Surah Al-Fatiha for all of those who made this possible. But again, before it, a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.